the book was completely preposterous and worthless. The book said that there were no Palestinians in Palestine until the Zionists came along and made the desert bloom, and then the Palestinians began to arrive to Palestine. It was the book that was of no value whatsoever. It simply recycled very old and stale Israeli propaganda. But it was the book that American Jews wanted to have because it completely whitewashed Israel. And the book was a huge success and received every accolade in America until Norman Finklestein wrote a long review article in which he exposed the spurious scholarship behind that book.
And I sent out my findings to like 25 people, typed them up. And then one Saturday morning, I got a call from Professor Chomsky. He said, "This is Noam Chomsky." And he said, "I read your findings, and they sound right to me."
I answered him. He told me later I was the only person who answered him. And his question was, does it look as if this is a good topic, a serious topic to study? And he sent I said, I read it. It's very solid. It's a very good topic to study. But if you go into it, do it with eyes open. You are not only going to undermine this book and show that it's a fraud, but you're going to undermine the whole U.S. intellectual community.
Everything is meant to be controversial today. Generally, it isn't. But there are certain issues and certain subjects where debate can be difficult. This book is The Holocaust Industry, and Norman Finklestein is the author. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Controversial, I can't not use the word. It's been overused and it's hackneyed, but...
Norman Finklestein, weitergeben. Norm, the floor is yours.
I remain faithful to the horrendous suffering of my late parents, yet the Nazi Holocaust has long ceased to be a source of moral or historical enlightenment. It has become a straight-out extortion racket. A handful of American Jews have effectively hijacked the Nazi Holocaust to blackmail Europe.
I read Finkelstein's book, The Holocaust Industry, when it came out. I was actually at that point in the middle of looking at the same data, and I convinced myself that with respect to part 2 of the book, which is to say the claims against the Swiss banks, Finkelstein was certainly on the right track. And I would now say, after I have looked into the matter even more, that forgetting the style in which he was writing, his conclusions were moderate.
Norman is a very careful scholar, and he feels very passionately about the Holocaust. His parents are both survivors of extermination camps, and he was deeply, he was deeply involved in their lives and their tragedies and so on, and knows everything about the Holocaust. But and when you see somebody using it, exploiting it, demeaning the memory of the victims for personal gain, he doesn't like it. I can understand that.
These Holocaust hucksters have become the main fomenters of anti-Semitism in Europe, as well as the main purveyors of Holocaust denial.
I do slightly disagree with the tone of his voice when he discusses these matters, because I do feel that remembrance, especially organized remembrance, is costly. It doesn't just happen. It isn't just done by volunteers. And there is no avoiding something like an organization that can be called an industry.
This is not about some construction of memory. This is about people using history for their political purposes. There is no new anti-Semitism. This is pure fabrication. There is a creation of a new anti-Semitism to serve the same purpose as was used for the past 20 years, the Holocaust industry. To divert attention from what's being done to the Palestinians, so everybody is talking about the new anti-Semitism instead of what's being done to the Palestinians, and in a wonderful inversion to turn Israel and its supporters into the victims and turn the Palestinians and their supporters into the victimizers, turning reality totally on its head. With all due respect, I'm an old-timer. I know how deeply frustrating it can be when you're sitting in the audience and somebody goes on for an hour and a half saying things that you find utterly loathsome, repulsive, and also you think factually incorrect. And I think people should have more than 60 seconds. As I said, I'll leave it to the patience of the audience. When you feel it's going on too long, you know how to express your disapproval. Otherwise, they should be allowed to go on. Go ahead.
Hi. During your speech, you made a lot of references to Jewish people as well as certain people in your audience, not Jewish people in general, but certain people, especially in your audience, to Nazis. Now, that is extremely offensive when certain people are German. And they're also extremely offensive to people who've actually suffered under Nazi rule.
I don't respect that anymore. I really don't. I don't like and I don't respect the crocodile tears the crocodile tears. No. I'm sorry, folks. Allow me to finish and allow me to finish. Listen, sir. Allow me to finish. Sir. I don't like to play before an audience the Holocaust card. But since now I feel compelled to. My late father was in Auschwitz. My late mother, please shut up. My late father was in Auschwitz. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on my father's side,
the Jews did not take arms against the Germans.
My late father was in Auschwitz concentration camp. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on both sides was exterminated. Both of my parents were in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. And it's precisely and exactly because of the lessons my parents taught me and my two siblings that I will not be silent when Israel commits its crimes against the Palestinians. And I consider nothing more despicable than to use their suffering and their martyrdom to try to justify the torture, the brutalization, the demolition of homes that Israel daily commits against the Palestinians. So I refuse any longer to be intimidated or browbeaten by the tears. If you had any heart in you, you would be crying for the Palestinians, not for what's been done.